there's no other person in wrestling that has it all than this guy, the bastard PAC. But there's only one person that really can hype him up, and that is Crayfish.
Yeah!
It wouldn't be a match without a discussion about PAC and Grumpy Dax, two grumpy men without Crayfish himself, man. I know you were pumped for this, man. Give us your thoughts.
Well, I mean, I hear you guys talking about stealing the show, and like Superman with the cape, I got my FTR jacket on, I got my PAC shirt on. Dude, it does not get better than this for me. I literally was on social media just trying to thank AEW as much as I could. Thank you so much for making this match happen. Thank you so much for letting me see this. Yeah. I felt like this was a gift from the pro wrestling gods, from TK himself, letting your boy Crayfish see literally two of my favorite wrestlers of the last decade go toe-to-toe with each other. You know, SPD, you talked about it, and I'll be honest with you, I've got you on the FTR bandwagon over the course of the last 2 years here. But you said it earlier on that, man, you felt like maybe Dax could go on a little singles run at some point. And I was always such a diehard FTR fan that I never even wanted to hear any of that noise.
True.
But when you see a match like this, when you see Dax be able to go toe-to-toe with who I believe is every bit as good as anyone on the planet, I personally had him on my Mount Rushmore, as controversial as it is, the bastard. When Dax can go toe-to-toe with a guy like him, and you could see the physicality of these two guys. JR retweeted us tonight because I was completely invested in this one emotionally. The commentator team did an incredible job hyping up and talking about it. And I know Bonds, as a guy who just likes watching people just beat the piss out of each other sometimes, seeing these two just lay into each other, seeing these two just absolutely without, I mean, the lariat from Dax, the avalanche brain buster from my guy PAC. I mean,
unreal.
There's so many moments where, I mean, there was a moment in this match where PAC had spit caught in his beard just because he was just getting beat up so bad in this one. I mean, I know I'm not alone. This match this is as good as it gets, dude. I mean, this is phenomenal stuff. These two guys are just old school, no nonsense,
grumpy,
beat you up type of guys. I loved every minute of this one.
I mean, you said it best, man. I mean, we had to get it from the man himself, the biggest fanboy of PAC, man. But I completely agree. Like, you know, This Is Wrestling chants is different from This Is Awesome. And, you know, the home of pro wrestling, AEW, and the fans seeing that. And, you know, I think as diehard AEW fans, I feel like we are pretty, you know, smart fans, and AEW is full of smart fans. They're not smart marks. They're smart fans.
Right.
And giving that chant going, they can appreciate it. And they appreciated everything about that match. And so many huge moments out of there. I mean, like you said, that brutal brainbuster from the top. But what I love about Dax, man, he can control the ring, you know, the squared circle, not only for, you know, emotionally, physically on his face.
Yes, they're so good with facial expressions, these guys, aren't they?
He had the biggest grumpy, sad face with that awesome stash in there, man. He was just so grumpy Dax, and he played up to that. Excellent, man. I love grumpy Dax. But one of my favorite, you know, combo moves is when he does that power bomb off the ropes and then brings him into the center of the ring. I love that combo stuff, man. But it was a home run match for sure.
No doubt.
Yeah, I wanted these guys to go on forever, man. I loved it. These are two of my favorites as well. I know these are like definitely your top, Mike.
Oh, baby.
But man, like these are two of the best to go in the ring. You know they're gonna steal the show whenever they get to do singles stuff. And when you put them together, oh my gosh, like this was easily the best match of the night, just because these are two of the best technicians, two of the best in terms of psychology. They could just tell such a good story. They in just one little match, they can tell such an amazing story. And PAC is so good, and he's at such a different level than 99% of 99.9% of everybody in the wrestling world. And I don't think Dax is that far off, which is amazing. And I just love these guys. And I think that we saw the difference tonight with PAC getting that win. But, ultimately, I love the feud. I love this tag stuff they're doing with the AAA stuff and with the AEW tag titles. A lot of fun. And I think that we get to see a lot of amazing tag teams that go at it. And we don't get to see them in their single stuff enough because of how good they are tags, in tag teams. But when we get to see it, it's special, like tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we could have a whole segment just talking about everything that happened post match.
Yeah,
but I mean, one of the things that I've really enjoyed being able to talk to you guys about throughout this process is just being able to notice those nuances. And JR talked about it, the nuances of selling. And it's a lost art. And I think in today's day and age, so many guys are so caught up in, getting their offense in and doing the acrobatics and putting on those wow moments for the crowd. And again, at SPD, great point by you, the "this is awesome" chants are very commonplace in pro wrestling these days. This felt like pro wrestling at its finest. These are two guys that made each other both look like $1 million. They both beat the hell out of each other, but the selling by both guys, man, was absolutely on point. The facial expressions by Dax, the time, and I know SPD, I know how you love it when PAC just goes kind of limp. I mean, there are moments
no one does it better.
He's so good at it. No, but I mean, the storytelling. Put all the physicality aside, and again, this match was absolutely bonkers with how these guys just leaned into the physical aspects of this match. But just the storytelling, the facial expressions, the way these two worked off against each other, it was evident that these are two veterans in the business that just get it. They just get it, folks.
Agree.
And the end game was not, I need to look good or you need to look good. It's, we're going to make this look good. And I think that's another testimony to the end product, the post-match stuff. Bonds, how many weeks? I think that you get a sick pleasure out of getting Cody Rhodes getting booze. I think that you're the guy on this team here who kind of gets a sick pleasure in watching that unfold because you know how much it bothers SPD and I. But it's working now. Having this whole... seeing these two sides start to formulate.
Yeah.
Cody's starting to get some pops again, guys.
I think he got some pops tonight. In my opinion, I didn't hear any boo.
Help my guy, help out the bastard, and all of a sudden you're the superhero again. I love it.
Got the pops. Let's make this clear. PAC was the one getting the pops tonight. It was not Cody. The crowd still doesn't like Cody. It's still turn that heel, Cody. Turn that heel, it's coming.
I just ordered you a babyface shirt, Crayfish. You better wear that loud and proud.
You switch teams, man. I gotta wear double those heel shirts now.
Oh gosh, yeah. SPD's trying to take all my favorites onto his team. So if Darby Allin turns heel, maybe
you should be trying to get Cody on team heel, man.
I know. I just think that Cody works as he is now. I think that he's such a perfect kind of like he is like the John, not to be, but he's kind of like the John Cena of AEW in that like he's gonna be a heel for some fans out there, but he's gonna be a babyface for the kids, and I think that that's a needed thing. I think that AEW doesn't have a lot of those types of guys who just like stand up for what they believe in and are good guys, and I like that about Cody. I think that he's doing some of his best work right now, even though it might not be popular with the smart marks.
Keep true to your values and it will ultimately pay off. Even if you're getting boos week in and week out, it'll ultimately pop. And I think Full Gear will be a true testament to what we're seeing. But tonight, I think really helped. I loved how he came through the crowd.
Yeah.
And I think he's still doing the right things. I think it's going to turn for him for sure. And
Bonds is over here shaking his head in typical John Cena fashion. It would work for Cody to latch on to PAC right now, because PAC in the Death Triangle are they're the hottest thing.
Just like Zack Ryder, man. Next thing you know, he's going to be pushing PAC off of the stage in a wheelchair, and you're going to be so angry that you were so naive.
I see your wheels turning. I can tell. You're Mike. You're being naive here, man. Come on, crayfish. Before you know it, yeah.
This was a clean sweep. Get the cleaners out. Top performer of PAC. And I mean, I think this is unanimously when anytime PAC is on the card. I mean, how could you argue with any of his matches not being the top match? I'm curious to
see what his stats are when his appearances to his performer of the night on our show. We should go back and
we should
stats.
I have to literally hold back because I mean I could easily give him top performer every single time he's on. I mean, you said I mean and yeah, there is some bias there because I am such a big fan of his, but when you see what he does, he's as close to flawless of a performer as it gets to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes me. I'm smiling ear to ear seeing you guys on board. Clean sweep, baby. It's been a long time since we've had a sweep like this.
That's agree. And just to set the stage, we don't tell each other. Everyone texts me. I pick mine, and then I have the guys, the Dukes, text me separately of their top performer. So we're not kind of in on this together, but this is definitely a well-deserved clean sweep.
And on a killer show, right? The go home show, before the go home Dynamite before Full Gear, and there were a lot. I mean, there were a lot of great matches tonight. A lot of great showcases for individual performers. I love seeing the War Dog unleashed tonight.
Of course.
That women's the 6-woman tag match was fantastic.
There were a lot of candidates for this.
A lot of great stuff on tonight's show. But man, for this performance, PAC going toe-to-toe with Dax and really killing it. I'm glad to see you guys on board, man. Team Dynamite download.
I do think this one was just as much about his opponent as well, too, because I think that the fact that he was wrestling Dax just made him, PAC, look even better than he always looks. Having a guy that can raise that bar for you, that just makes it even better, because PAC usually elevates everybody he's in the ring with, but man, when you can elevate each other like that, you have something special.
We talk about it all the time.
The definition of that is
iron sharpens iron.
Exactly.
Yeah, baby.
True definition of that.